All right, BONK USDT. This is going to be the Bybit chart. So today I wanted to do a quick technical analysis video on BONK, just showing the current price action, where I would be looking for a long and a short position, and where I expect price to go to next, right? So as you can see on the 4-hour chart zoomed out, this was a major support level, right? And look where price came down to. Right on that support level, bounced off of it, had a very nice reaction. We're talking from the lows to the highs, 92% pump. And look where price is right now, came right back down to the lows. And currently, from that level, it's about 13% higher. So if we were to get another reaction, we could be looking at about an 83% increase in price. This is, in my opinion, right now, a very massive, undeveloped channel, right? You could say it is a little bit more developed, because if I was to pull the parallel channel here to these lows, maybe this could be a slight deviation in price, then you'll see with that pulled how price has reacted, right? Came down, slight deviation, swept the lows here, came back in, pumped all the way up, tested the top of the channel to pretty much the dollar, right, to the penny. Got rejected, back tested the 50% mark, right? Impulse higher, swept these highs, tried to sell off, couldn't really get there, tested the top of the channel again, and then continued to move lower. So that's one thing with the swing failure patterns, is usually if you don't get the initial entry, you can sometimes wait for price to retest the level before having a breakdown, right? And as you can see, if you were to short on that retest and placed your stops above this high, which would have been a little bit higher way, 6%, you'd still be able to carry that down all the way to the bottom of the channel, and you're talking about a 41% increase in price. So right now with BONK, as you can see, it clearly just broke out of a trend line. Had a very nice reaction. I think this was about an 8% pump on the day. Or from the breakout, let's go ahead and take a look. To the top, actually about 12%, so even better. So right now, BONK, in my opinion, is looking extremely bullish, and the main reason why is because it did tap the lows again, right? Broke out, came back down. I believe if I was to go ahead and pull the fib, pretty much tested the golden pocket almost exactly, right? And got a nice bounce, 8% bounce. That's where I got the 8% from, and now it is back testing this area as support. So if I go ahead and put the rectangle in, which I drew a little bit earlier, you can see this was support, resistance, broke above, and now it's trying to solidify this level as a support. If we break any lower, pretty much, any lower, if we break down and we start doing something like this, then that support instantly lost, and then we can expect price to come back down, test the golden pocket, or move a little bit lower, sweep those low, or even sweep these lows right there, right? Because this is a new low. That's where a ton of liquidity is, but actually not that high in volume, surprisingly. So high buy volume, but not as much as I thought there would be. But still, it is a very important pivot low, so there will be a ton of longs with their stops placed right below this low. All right, so BONK, in my opinion, is showing the patterns of a project that wants to move a whole lot higher, right? And in my opinion, it more than likely will happen. We had to bounce from the lows, break out, pretty much retested this area, because this now became resistance turned into support right here, right? As you can see. So that is a level. support, swept these lows, right? On a lower time frame, locally, swept the lows, swing failure to lows, moved higher, had a nice solid 11% increase, and now it is trying to flip this level of resistance into support again. If it manages to do that, then it's just a stair-step pattern all the way up to the top, right? So here is another pretty key resistance. If that level gets broken, where do we look to next? The next major level of resistance above, which in my opinion, it would be around this area. Now I do have my high time frame levels mapped out, which I'll pull in a second, but just doing this based off of just looking at the chart, right? Sometimes it works best just to look at the chart and just see for yourself where some of these support and resistance levels could be. Same thing here, came down support, then failed it, but it still made a pretty solid reaction. Resistance, resistance, so these are the levels, right? And it seems a little crazy, but in reality, this is just what you have to look out for, right? Reclaim the level, back test it, you can enter a long, price moves up, may consolidate, right? Breaks through, support, you could long there again. It's just stair steps all the way up. Now this is obviously sometimes a little bit textbook, but in a way it really isn't that textbook because that's what price does. And I can show you a perfect example right now by looking at Pith Network. Look what happened. Resistance right here on Pith, right? Resistance, flipped into support, price moves higher, chopped around for a little bit. Resistance, flipped to support, price moves higher. It's now chopping around for a little bit more. And what do we have next? Another level up here, right? So what do we think might happen one more time to then challenge these highs? I'll tell you. Flip resistance into support. Come and try to tackle the highs, right? Now, obviously, price can get rejected, blah, 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 which it might. You know, it could even do something like this. Gets rejected off the highs, comes down, back test the trend line and point of control before then moving higher. And then back testing this level before, once again, moving a little bit higher. So that's it with Pith. Back to BONK. So when looking at that and then taking a look at BONK, you could clearly see how this is a very probable price action movement as long as Bitcoin is also there supporting these movements, because if Bitcoin dumps, the rest of the market dumps. But BONK, in my opinion, is looking very bullish after breaking out of this massive trend line, retesting resistance as support, and finding the buyers to come in, push price higher, and flipped another level of resistance into support. So I would expect if price was to hold this level to get a nice 8% push to the next level above. And then eventually, if you do ride this out all the way and it goes according to plan, you can look at about a 60% increase in price from these current levels. Okay? Price breaks down from this level, you can look to long down here. That'll give you a 72% increase to the top of the previous high. And if price comes down and sweeps all of these levels and you manage to get an entry down here, you're talking a 91% gain overall. All right, try to keep things simple. And one thing I do want to bring up too as well, which is very important, is that this area as you can see, this area right here, massive support and resistance area. And when I go ahead and pull up the fixed range volume profiles of all the key areas, look at the point of control. Where is the point of control? Right there. And look exactly where price got rejected. So if someone tells you that the old price action is not important, tell them to go ahead and look at the BONK chart, because look where price just got rejected from, to the absolute penny, right? To the penny. Point of control right around there, the height right around the same number. You cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. So with that being said, what's next, right? So you're on the point of control here. You just got rejected. You're trying to find support once again. And what do you think is going to happen? If we do manage to find support, your next major test will be this value area low, pulled from this initial sell-off. And then right above that, you have the value area high off the old range, right? And then you have your point of control. And then if you want to go ahead and take those off, we can, or actually we'll leave those on for now. Let's go ahead and put on our high time frame levels. Look at the value area high, very close to the daily. You have a daily that was already tapped, very close to the value area high of this point of this fixed range. And a few more key levels here, right? And weekly below once again. And that's just another thing, right? So remember how I told you earlier about this support and resistance zone below? Look what's right below it. The weekly level and daily level, which is a weekly open and close and daily open and close. So let's just see how this all plays out. But in my opinion, BONK is looking like it wants to push higher after a slight retracement. And potentially you can ride this all the way up to the previous highs. Right? Not all-time highs, right? All-time highs is still a little ways away. But a 61% gain in anyone's portfolio is absolutely amazing. All right, so that's pretty much it with BONK. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to like and subscribe. Follow me on YouTube. I do frequent updates. Just posted a chart on Pepe. And yeah, look forward to seeing you guys all watch the next video. All right, thank you for joining. Have a great day. Like and subscribe. Take care.